Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Renee and today I'm here to tell you all about my March TBR. So I gotta be honest, my February TBR did not go as planned. February was a weird month. There was just a lot going on and I didn't read nearly as much as I would have liked to. So a couple of these books you'll probably recognize from my February TBR just because I unfortunately just did not get to them. And that's just what it is. So for March, I am anticipating getting a lot more reading done. I am actually getting my wisdom teeth out, so I'm gonna have some time off of work for recovery. So I plan on getting a lot of reading done during that, even though it's not the most ideal circumstance. Also, it is my birthday in March. We love a Pisces. The only thing that might come in the way of my reading plans is Animal Crossing. I just got Animal Crossing New Horizon. I know I'm like a year late on it, but I didn't have a Switch. So now that I do, all I've wanted to do is build my island, but I'm still reading in between. So we gotta share our time here. Gotta share our time. But without further ado, let's just get into the books that I have here. A few of the books that I'm going to talk about I actually do not physically have with me. Two of them are on their way. I ordered them from Book Depository, and the other one is a pre-order that is not out yet. So I'll get to those at the end, but for now, let's just jump into the books that I do physically own. So we're going to start with the book that I'm probably going to pick up first, and that is Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. I have heard so many amazing things about this book, and it just sounds like it's going to be everything. It sounds like it's going to be gripping, powerful, emotional, and also from what I do know, this is inspired by the events of R. Kelly. There is a lot of trigger warnings for this book involving grooming, assaults. It touches on racism, and it's just I cannot get over how excited I am to read this. So if you don't know what Grown is about, we follow our main character Enchanted, who is an aspiring singer, and she gets pulled in by this super famous producer, Corey Fields, and he ends up dead, and she is one of the last people who saw him. Even in the synopsis it said she woke up with blood on her hands and no memory of the night before. So she, from what I'm guessing, becomes a suspect in his murder. But there's also other things that it touches on, such as her and her family moving to a new suburban neighborhood and her struggling with being one of the only Black kids in high school. It also touches on grooming, and like I said, it goes back to being inspired by events of R. Kelly. So this just sounds like everything. It's got some thriller, mystery aspects to it. It's got some really powerful notions to it as well. So to be honest, I'm probably going to pick this up today. I just got this and I have thought about it ever since I opened the package. It's February 28th. So I'm just going to get started on my March TBR early because, to be honest, I've kind of given up on my February TBR. So next we have Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I read my first Colleen Hoover book in February. I read Verity, and I did really enjoy it, and I really enjoy Colleen Hoover's writing style, and she has so many books out there that I always hear recommended. I always see different Colleen Hoover books recommended, and I think that's really impressive that there's not one that sticks out. It's like the collection of her books is just so well loved in the book community from what I've seen. And to be honest, I read the synopsis of this and it sounded interesting enough for me to purchase and read before some of her other ones, because I also know that a couple of her books are really sad, and I, to be honest, was not in the mood for a cry. So I went with this one, and I can't even remember why. But we're going to see it just as an unforgettable love story that breaks all the rules. Hearts get infiltrated, promises get broken, rules get shattered, love gets ugly. So you know what? I'm here for the ride. I'm definitely here to read more of Miss Colleen Hoover's books. So we have this. Next, still on the topic of romance, is a book that I almost wasn't sure if I wanted to read it, but something pulled at me when I was making my last book purchase that was like, you know what, Renee, just read it. And that is Credence by Penelope Douglas. Now, this book has so many mixed reviews. But, you know, I just kind of want to see it for myself. I have read Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas, and I had my complaints about it, but at the end of the day, it was still extremely addictive. And I live for that in books, like anything to keep me engaged. I also do hear that this is a very spicy book, and I'm kind of also in the mood for spice, so I think that's another reason why I went and picked this up. But basically, our main female character loses both of her parents and ends up going to live with her father's stepbrother and his 2 sons. And I mean, I can kind of guess where it's gonna go, but the main part of the summary that really drew me in was one of them has her, the other one wants her, but he's going to keep her. Okay. Next up, we have a book that was on my most anticipated releases of 2021 list, so I'm super excited to read The Project by Courtney Summers. This book came out last month, but I didn't have time to start it. But I am stoked for this. It has a very culty feel to it, and I live for cult stories. The project follows our main character, Lo, who wakes up in the ICU after a tragic car accident. Most of her family has unfortunately passed, except for her sister, who has actually left her for this Unity project. And there is just these sinister beliefs going on around the Unity project. And eventually a man comes to Lo and pretty much tells her that they were responsible for murdering his son. And it sets Lo off on this mystery quest to kind of figure out what the Unity Project is, help her sister. And it just sounds like a really nice culty thriller mystery vibe. I hope this lives up to my expectations, because they're very high. They're very high for this book. And I haven't really read many reviews because I don't want any spoilers. This just came out and I kind of want that fresh, clean opinion going solely off of the synopsis. So we'll see what I think, but I hope that this is good. We'll see. Next up, we have Fierce Fairy Tales by Nikita Gill. This is actually a poem and short stories collection. And it is a twist on modern day fairy tales, but from what I understand, it does sway very feminist. This just screams girl power. It screams reality. I'm very excited about this. I actually don't even know how I found out about this book. I was just doing research on some short story books or poetry books because I haven't really read any, and this one popped up and I'm super excited to read it. I don't really know what else to expect other than some girl power going on in this, so we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Next up, we have 2 mangas, and that is Waiting for Spring Volume 2 and 3. I read Volume 1 last month and I absolutely loved it, so I went ahead and ordered the next 2, and I just feel like this is going to be a new favorite manga series of mine. It is so cute. I love the basketball element. I love the characters already, and I am super excited to see where it goes and just continue on this journey. So I definitely will get to these 2 this month for sure. So next we have 2 books from my February TBR that I did not get to. One is The Big Kahuna From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I just simply did not have time for this last month. I wasn't in the right headspace for it either. It's just such a stressful and all over the place month that my mind could not focus on a fantasy novel, especially a new fantasy novel. So I did not get to this one, but I will absolutely get to this book in March, because I do know that the 3rd one is coming out soon and I want to be caught up on it by the time that comes out so I can join in on the excitement as long as I like this. But I honestly am anticipating loving this. If this is not a 5-star read, I cannot express to you how disappointed I will be. That's the tea. And then the other book that I did not get to in February, unfortunately, is The Damned by Renee Audier. I'm kind of surprised about this because The Beautiful shot up to one of my favorite books of all time. But once again, I was not in a fantasy mindset last month. I feel like to read fantasy, you have to be hyper focused, and I just was not focused at all last month. But I will get to this month. Once again, I am so excited to see where Selena and Sebastian's relationship goes. I'm so excited to see how the vampire aspect of this book evolves. I kind of hope it does. And similar to From Blood and Ash, these are both stories that involve vampires. So literally the middle school Renee is screaming. Screaming at how excited I am about these books. So we'll see how it goes. And then next up, we are getting to the books that I don't physically own. And we're going to start with what I have on pre-order, which is The Girls Are All So Nice Here by Gloria Elizabeth Flynn. This book comes out March 9th. Comes out March 9th, I think. And this is a thriller book, and I am super excited. This is another one of those books that I just am so intrigued by, and I genuinely believe that I will love it. And if I don't, I'm just gonna... But, you know, it is what it is. I'm hoping for the best, though. But this book follows two best friends who go back to their 10-year school reunion and realize that someone is out to get them for something that they did back in the past, back in school. And it's called The Girls Are All So Nice Here, but we already know the girls are not nice. And I'm just really intrigued by it. There's just something about it that I just like really want to know what happens, and I can't explain it. I'm just very, very excited for it. So I do have this on pre-order. I'm so excited for when it arrives. I will probably read it immediately. So we'll see how that goes. So, and then the last two books on this list are currently on their way from Book Depository, and I'm super excited for both of these. The first one is The Sad Ghost Club, and it is a graphic novel that centers around mental health, and I just think that this is going to be such a nice read, so refreshing and just so relatable. The synopsis says, ever feel anxious or alone, like you don't belong anywhere, like you're almost invisible? Find your kindred spirits at the Sad Ghost Club. This is the story of one of those days, a day so bad that you could barely get out of bed, when it's a struggle to leave the house, and when you do, you wish you hadn't. But even the worst days can surprise you. When one sad ghost, lost and alone at a crowded party, spies another sad ghost across the room, they decide to leave together. What happens next changes everything. And that just sounds so cute. It just sounds like it'll be such a joy to read. I've been looking for kind of an off-the-wall graphic novel that I don't hear talked about very often, and I found it. And I actually found it because I saw that Jody had read it, and I will link her channel down below because she's amazing. Go check her out. But I did find this book because of her, and I feel like she just has so many good recommendations. So if you like what I'm reading, I feel like you'll also love her recommendations as well. But I am so excited for this book to come in. I cannot wait to delve right into it. I think it's going to be an absolute joy. And then the last book on this list, also on the way from Book Depository, which I am so excited about because it took me forever to find this book. And when I say it took me forever to find this book, it took me forever to find this book, especially trying to find it for under hundreds of dollars. For some reason, whenever I would find it, it was selling for hundreds of dollars. I think the cheapest that I saw was $170, and I was like, what is going on here? Why? And I couldn't find it in any of the bookshops or comic shops, but I have finally found and ordered House of M, the complete collection, and I am stoked. I am stoked, especially with WandaVision currently on. I am watching that every week. I absolutely love it. I'm so invested. I've always loved Wanda as a character. She's one of my all-time favorite Marvel characters. I actually cosplayed her several years ago in her comic book form, in her comic book outfit, and watching WandaVision is kind of making me want to bring it back. And House of M centers very strongly around Wanda, and it actually is when she suffers this intense emotional break. And then what happens after that is a result of her breakdown. And There's a lot of tie-in stories to it. It's actually this really intricate story, and there's several different comics and tie-ins that go into it, but I did just order the main core collection of it. I'm so excited. I hope it gets here before WandaVision ends, but something tells me that that's not going to happen. But, I'll take what I can get. I do still have some Wanda comics down here to hold me over until I get that. But I'm just in such a Wanda kick right now. And I am so excited to read House of M, and I'm so excited to see how WandaVision ends. And also kind of nervous because I just love her with all my heart, and I know that her emotional breakdown is probably coming. It's coming. So that is my TBR for the month of March. There's about 12 books on this list, but quite a few of them are rather short, so I think it's definitely doable. I do want to make it a goal this month to actually read my whole TBR. I have not done that all year, but I really want to hold myself accountable this month and do that. So I think what I'm going to do is actually do a couple reading vlogs this month, because I always feel very motivated and driven when it comes to one of the reading vlogs. So we'll see how that goes. But that is the end of this video. If you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up down below to support this channel, and subscribe if you would like to continue on my reading journey with me. And also, if you want to follow me on any of my social medias, including my Instagram, so you can see my cosplays and stuff, I will link those down below as well, along with any channels mentioned on this video. Once again, I hope you liked this video, and I will see you in the next one.